Welcome in, my friends. Welcome in, my Reds, our rivals, even our neutrals as well, to another edition of Liverpool 12th Man Show. It is something of a festive moment, I guess, for some, because it is Christmas Eve. So happy holidays to all those that celebrate that certain holiday. And still, I hope that's a wonderful day for those that don't as well. This is the strange, deceptive moment of the season that we have to go through, and that is because we're getting closer to finally the final game of 2025 for us. And then we embark on 2026, which we hope has better tidings than what had started this campaign for 2025, 2026. And the table tells you we're okay. We're fine and we're okay. The fixtures tell a different story. Tell you that I think the fixtures have told you that we definitely have some points of fragility in our club that we have to figure out and definitely solidify. And the squad list tells you maybe we're a little thin in certain areas. So Liverpool are competing on every front. Well, three out of four fronts, I should say. We're out of the Caribou Cup, but still we're in control of our own destiny. We're still alive in the competitions that are very important to us, which are obviously Champions League and the Premier League as well, even though the Premier League is a very, very slight glimmer of hope holding on to that. But make no mistake, this is the part of the season that defines champions, not when everything is easy, but when everything becomes uncomfortable, when injuries pile up, when fatigue creeps in, when squad depth becomes more than just a theory, it becomes a reality for all of us. So tonight's about maybe a little fantasy shopping. It's about headlines, or it's about some of the hype, but it's really all about the reality. What does Liverpool do from here? What do we actually need right now? And what do we want? Because what we need and what we want are two different things. And what can we afford? That is going to be the big question. What can we actually afford? So I'm going to bring in Lee. Lee's joining us today. Big up to John Conway. Happy Christmas. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you too, Norm, as well. Lee, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay.
Just sorting the phone out, the chat on the phone. Yeah, good to see you, mate. Good to see you. And
yeah,
we're not far away now, are we? Like from the next game, it seems a while, doesn't it? Like it seems a while since we've played, but just hope it goes well. We can keep this run going.
Yeah. It seems like it's. You know why I think it seems like so long is because we've had now 2 weeks where we've had just one game.
Yeah.
Oh, that seems, and then obviously there was the Caribou Cup. That was the in between that we normally would have been involved in if we were still involved in the competition, but we're no longer involved in it. So we had the 1 week where it was a week break, and then now this week is here, and we have another long week. We'll have Arne Slot's given our team actually Christmas off, to tell you the truth, which is like something that they normally don't really doesn't really happen too often for this team. So it's an interesting one, man. It's an interesting one because January isn't just a window; it's a mirror, like as to what our team looks like and what we can expect. We've had some great acquisitions and the likes. I was thinking of maybe doing. I did see someone did a show similar to it, and I mean, it's a show that's been made before, but I thought it'd be interesting to see what our opinions were. Not in this episode, obviously, but in I'm just saying, like in an upcoming episode, maybe maybe when we actually get to January, maybe I'll hold off until then. Let me see if I can. But what is under Liverpool's Christmas tree? That's the question we're going to answer in this next segment. I know I just saw Norm say what he wants to see under the tree, and that is a center back. But a center back no longer feels like a preference. It feels like an inevitability, because it's something that we need. It's something that we desperately have to work out. Big up, Graham. Big up. Oh, big up, Graham. Christmas in Bangkok, no problem. That's cool. That's super, super cool. Merry Christmas to you. Big up Bonkers as well. That's because you're with family, by the way, Graham. That's why you're watching. It doesn't, if it's early in the morning or late in the evening, maybe one of the reasons why you're watching is because you want to be with family on a day like today. And definitely, Reds family, appreciate each and every one of you that is joining us. Let me see if I can get this to work actually.
Well, you'd like to think that the lack of games that we've had all of a sudden, because we've been knocked out the Carabao Cup, you'd like to think the extra time on the training pitch would help, would help us to continue this run we're in. They're not losing and, winning most of the games, because it needs to continue against Wolves. Like, we can't be offering anything less than a win against Wolves. And to be honest, the same with Leeds. Like, if we don't get a win against Leeds, it'd be really disappointing.
Yeah.
We need to win both these games. I think we can. We just got to concentrate properly, especially at the back, not give gifts away. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I totally know what you mean. I mean, look, Marc Guehi was the plan. That's been clear for months. I understand the deal fell apart at deadline and everyone pretended it didn't matter. We can get through this. I was optimistic, actually, to be honest with you, with the addition of Leone. I think Leone is a really, promising prospect. But now with Leone, Giovanni Leone out for the season with an ACL, I know that there are possible rumors that he might try to return before that, possibly even in January, but I don't think that means I wouldn't expect for him to be on the pitch for us. Konate's contract is winding down. Liverpool have conceded 39 goals in 26 games. That is crazy, if you ask me. Considering we last year, out of 56 games, we conceded 55 goals. That's a big difference. Big difference. That's not noise. That's regression. That's definitely regression. And Slot wants control. He wants dominance. He wants structure. But structure can't always survive in an ecosystem that has a team that doesn't look like they're controlled, doesn't look like they're together on the same page. If you can't press high, if you're scared of the ball, coming over the top, or you can't dominate space if you don't trust the defenders occupying it. A center back seems like the logical pick. But the question is, what is the timing that we have to get that pick in? And that's the real question. Because I'll ask you in the chat, and I'll ask you, Lee, do you wait for Guehi to become available? Do you simply wait until he becomes available?
Yeah, I'd like to think there's a possibility we could get him in January, that they would agree to, say, a 15, 20 million pound fee to release him early. But I don't know if they'd be willing to. It'd be the perfect answer, wouldn't it? Because we know we want him. It's a player we know we wanted and we weren't able to sign. So it's a link that we know is definitely true. It's whether we can get them to part with him in January. I think it might be quite hard too, and we're going to have to wait till the summer. In which case, then we've got to find another. We've got to find an alternative, because I don't want to see Gravenberch playing in the back four, which he will be if we get one more injury.
Okay, I see. Big up, Sheba. Always a pleasure. Merry Christmas to you too. Best to you and your family. And thank you for the kind words. That's very, very cool. Very cool. Norm is saying no because we need two anyway. Honestly, thought Slot would be to Klopp what Paisley was to Shankly, as in even better and more successful. Presently, he seems to be more like Raj. Yeah. It's tough. That's a tough pill to swallow. Look, I think up front, Isak's injury makes it a little bit harder to navigate the January window, because all of a sudden we went from, trying to get a forward that we're going to rely on as being one of our main forwards, if not one of the co-main forwards on that front line, to now we have to rely solely on Ekitike and find a backup for him now. And with Isak out for months, Salah's future uncertain. I think this actually makes Salah's return even more of a priority. Like, as in, I know some people were looking for him to maybe part ways with the club, or maybe some were thinking that, the Brighton game was his last game as a Liverpool player. I wouldn't have gone that far personally, or I wasn't going that far with my assessment. I think that there's ways to incorporate Salah into this team in other capacities that don't necessarily involve him being a right wing or right inside forward, if you want to call it that. But it's a real big question. How do we improve this team? How do we improve it? Because do you honestly think that there's a chance for us to be in the title? I got laughed at when I brought that up yesterday on the show. I said that, we could possibly have some type of title contention. I'm not saying that we're a shoo-in for the title or anything like that. It would definitely be hard sledding, but there's always the chance, considering that we're not, miles off of the top, but there would have to be a lot of movement in between us to actually have it happen. Do you think, are you out of the title talk? Is the title talk done and dusted for you right now? And would maybe getting a player in the January window maybe boost that possibility for you?
Don't think we're in the title race this season. But I'd like to think we can put up a fight for second spot, and not just settle for below, settle for third or below. I'd like to think we can put up a fight for second place. But yeah, we need a signing, mate. Everybody knows it. Like, it'd be silly to contend otherwise that we don't need a signing at centre back. We're down to just two players. If one of them gets injured, it'll either be Gravenberch playing centre back or Robbo. You know what I mean? Somebody playing with Robbo. And in that case, like, if he was playing with Virgil, say, if he was injured, Virgil would have to move over. So Robbo could play the left-hand side. Like, we're not going to see Robbo at, like, right centre-back, are we?
No.
But we're down to that, aren't we? Unless it's somebody from the
You could see Robbo at left center half.
Well, if Virgil got injured, we would, I think. It'd be him and Ibu.
Even if we did see, even if Virgil wasn't injured, you could see maybe Robbo at left center half. Maybe like an FA Cup game or something like that.
Yeah.
Where, Virgil's not going to play most likely in, the and I think we're in the fourth round of the FA Cup or third round of the FA Cup, right?
Third, yeah, it'll be when it kicks off for us.
So, if that's the case, then you're probably going to want some type of rotation. Most likely not going to start Virgil, and your choices are limited. I mean, if Gomez is available, obviously he could be a starter, but I wouldn't be surprised if you saw like a Robbo and Gomez as your center half pair, or something like an Endo and Robbo and Endo pairing. Oh goodness, or something similar. I guess you could possibly see something like that, but it's I don't know. I don't think we're panicking. I don't think it's time to panic. By the way, big up Abdul. By the way, big up Abdul. Let me see. Thank you, and you're welcome. Okay, Abdul. Getting it all in on one message. Big up to you. I hope that you're well. Season greetings, definitely, and blessings to you and your family. Graham saying, "Why don't we sign Chiesa?" Oh no, wait, we already have him. You wouldn't think so. That's true. Norm also said we needed 2 in the summer and Leone injured, so we still need 2 because we all know Gomez won't be available. You could say it that way too. You could look at it that way. I did watch a lot of YouTube last night. I saw Jamie Carragher's. He did a show with the guy from. He's like a Chelsea content creator. I'm going blank. Rory, and he got asked the question if he thought that. He got asked the question if he thought that Guehi would have been the difference maker in this year of us being, contending, if not top of the league, if we had gotten Guehi. Do you think that Guehi would have made that much of a difference to a point where we would have been firmly, contending, if not leading the pack?
I don't really know. I just hope that there is a small chance that we could get him in January. I think the odds are more in favour of him staying until the summer, until he's a free agent. But I would like to think that even then he'd still like to join us, as he wanted to, because he wanted to move himself, didn't he? And it didn't happen. That wasn't down to him, was it? He didn't have the final say on it.
Mm-hmm.
But I hope we've got other targets, because obviously we need quite a few centre backs, going forward from the position where we are now. We need a few centre back signings. There's no doubt about it, is there?
Yeah, no, there isn't. There's not much doubt at all. There's not much, but this is where it gets to, and I tried to explain this yesterday, but this is where it's unique situation for us. Because there's a lot of things that are going, with the way that how football teams operate, it can be sometimes a little bit more complex than, some of the laymen want to comprehend. But there's certain things that are going to be happening that are going to be really impactful in what we do in January. And what I mean by that is this. We've got players coming back off of, let's just be frank, the reason why they're coming back is probably because they're unsuccessful loans. And we've had quite a few unsuccessful loans, which is unfortunate. I know Simicast apparently Roma's looking to possibly back out of the loan deal for Simicast. We all know about Harvey Elliott being probably returned from Aston Villa. He hasn't played since September, actually. And then there are some players out there that probably could have gone on loan, but didn't go on loan, like Jayden Dans and the likes, right? So that's like three, maybe, and if not, like you might have maybe a fourth if you want to consider Ramsey. Ramsey's not on loan, but he's a player that is possibly going to go out on loan.
Well, with thingy, on the left-hand side, Tsimikas, if he comes back from his loan at Roma, he might be useful because if we get one more injury at centre-back, Robbo might have to be playing at centre-back, on the left-hand side. Yeah. We've seen it a couple of times when we qualified for the Champions League next phase. Yeah, last season when we'd already qualified early, like for the Champions League last phase, and we had like a couple of dead rubbers. He played centre-back, didn't he?
Tsimikas did, yeah.
Yeah, on the left. But that's what I was saying. We might need him at centre-back if Ibu or Virgil gets injured. So, it makes buying someone, or at least loaning someone in January, imperative, doesn't it? We can't not do it. We'd be tempting fate, wouldn't we? It'd be silly if they do take the chance. I know Endo can play there, but like he's injured now anyway, so he ain't even got in.
Yeah, he ain't got Endo. Endo's injury is a significant one, enough that they were saying weeks, not like days. They're saying weeks before he returns. So that's serious. But it's another thing too. There are some names. I'm going to get into this stuff because we all know about what the Semenyo deal is not happening, most likely, and the other things that are going on in the football world. Some other stories that have popped up now that some doors have opened and some doors have closed. But there's also the case where even with some of these players that we might not have thought of before, now all of a sudden they're a possible likelihood. And why I was bringing up some past legends, I know some people are very, very, bearish on Origi, returning to the team, or maybe some were a little more like open to the idea, but maybe that was from nostalgia about Bobby returning to the team. Shout out to Ryan Babel. Apparently he has a YouTube channel. Okay, big up, Antoine Semenyo. Give him a little shout out to Ryan Babel. Actually, you know what? I think I've seen his channel. Actually, I think I have seen his channel. But big up to John Wick in the house. But why I was bringing that up is because you've got to recognize the fact that Isak is injured, but he's not done. Like, as in, it's one thing if like it was a career-ending injury or something. Heaven forbid if it was, but I mean, it's not. So he will return. He can return, possibly even this year, but he will return. So that means that you will have two high-priced strikers in position in that role at some point in your near future. So to think that you're going to go out and get maybe a third is highly unlikely, you would think, right? Like, as in, there's to be able to sell a deal to, like, I want to get Julian Alvarez, for instance. That's the player I would like to go and target. I know people have Olise, some people have other players. My top target on my list offensively would be Julian Alvarez. But I don't think, it's going to take, to move heaven and earth to get him, because it would be it's a hefty price tag that would be associated with the player, and also you have to convince him to even come back to the Premier League and all this different stuff. But on top of that, you would have to convince him that there is a pathway towards him playing, not him just being a stopgap. And that's why, like, I know we're not a stopgap team, but maybe we need to find some type of stopgap just for now, because what else is there to do other than do what I've been suggesting, and that is rely on those players that are coming back as being the extra players that are going to bring you some type of depth towards the roster. They're not ideal. Obviously, they weren't ideal enough that they got shipped out on loan. But realistically, a lot of those players returning to the team could be an answer to not having to worry about going out there and trying to sell someone a dream or sell someone a false dream. Do you know what I mean by that, Lee? Or
Yeah.
do you agree? Yeah. But it's something that we have to figure out, because like it's sometimes the hardest thing for champions is to admit that survival has to come first.
Yeah.
And that's where we're at right now. Like, as in, can we bring in players that are planning for the future? Absolutely. But in January window, unless you have players that are already have a place for them to land and for them to keep on moving along with the team, it's difficult to bring in those acquisitions. Very difficult. Semenyo was supposed to be one of those players, for instance. Semenyo looks like he's city-bound, and fair enough. If Guardiola calls, most players answer. But Liverpool can't freeze, because plan A, I don't even know if he was plan A, but if he was plan A, if it disappears, that's not how elite clubs operate. Elite clubs will have plan A, plan B, plan C. They'll have the whole alphabet of plans set in some Rolodex somewhere. So let's talk about.
I hope the scouting team have been busy anyway in the last however long it's been since the window closed. And I hope we've got some targets, because we need it, don't we? We need some help for Virgil and Ibbo, because we've got.
Well, let's talk about it.
Is Leone definitely out for the whole season?
No. I've read reports that he could return as early as January.
Bloody hell, that would be helpful.
Yeah. Now, when I say return, I don't mean return as in.
Oh, you mean start attempting to get fit?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So he'll be back He'll be back on the training pitch trying to get his
so it would be like March or something, like early April, probably, before he'd
most likely
good enough to get on the pitch.
Most likely.
With Joe, we just don't know, do we? We don't know what's going to happen with Joe. Like, he's scheduled to be back, isn't he? So if we can have him fit, we've got an extra player. But if he isn't fit, then we definitely need someone. I think we've got a plan for that, haven't we? We've got to hopefully get someone in, because we need.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say, he did try to buy Guehi in the summer, which would have been 5 centre-halves. The club did actually want that, and that would probably be the ideal number for me, if not one more. So we need a few, don't we? Because we don't know if Ibbo's signing his new contract. Joe's fitness is always a concern nowadays, and as I said, like we said, Leone, we're not going to see anything of him really until next season. We might see him at the end of the season for a few games, but he'll just be getting himself back to some sort of, because it was a bad injury for him to have. So we have got to get busy in the scouting department, haven't we, for centre-backs? And hopefully
we do.
You would imagine that we have been, given the way things are.
Yeah, I would say that the thing about, so let me clarify for those people that are saying, whoa, that's crazy, Leone, whatever, he's not coming back, or he is coming back. It is, like I said, it would be more like what Manchester City are doing currently with Rodri, in that Rodri is available. Technically, he is available. But rather than him be like he's available, but he's like, still 60-40 or 70-30, of being like optimal Rodri, they're continuing to allow for him to get his fitness back and get his confidence and strength back, and going on with the season currently without him, making do without him, but knowing that there is a place in the team for him when he is fully healthy, and hopefully for them, hopefully not for us, but hopefully for them, he'll be available. That's what at least their plans of thinking. And then I think that could and should be our plans for Leone, considering such a young player. We shouldn't be trying to force him or rush him back, I think. And even though we do need his assistance, I don't think we should be rushing him back. It's just not a very smart move, in my opinion. But with the Semenyo situation, let's talk about what is on the board. How about that? Let's talk about what's on the board. I tried to help out Cal on the Coppish team's episode earlier. I was in the chat, and he was asking some questions. Drifty was on there too. They were all trying to figure out, they're asking, what do we go? Where do we go from here? And what do we do? And and I didn't do an actual deep dive segment on Adeyemi, but Adeyemi is a player now that is on the radar apparently for Liverpool. The Dortmund player that was Karim Adeyemi, who was certainly a hot prospect maybe 2 years ago. I'm not that convinced, or I'm not fully on board with the player currently. You could tell me different in the chat if you want, and if you're watching this on the replay, obviously tell me in the comments. But I don't think he is the player that I don't think he's the player that we're looking for. Do you know, are you familiar with the player? Lee?
Which player are we talking about here?
Karima Adeyemi.
Oh, yeah. He came up before, yeah. I am familiar with him, but for me, it's not in forward positions that we need to sign in this January. It's definitely at centre-back and possibly in defensive midfield, or a midfielder who could help give cover in the 6 and the 8, potentially. And a centre-back. The centre-back's the most pressing urgency, but a forward option now. I mean, Gakpo's going to be back soon, possibly back for the next game. And Salah as well, be back from AFCON before too long. Until then, we've only got Ekitike and Chiesa fit now, haven't we? If Gakpo doesn't make his return, we got Rio as well. But, we're minus a few forwards at the moment, aren't we? After what the Ven did to Isaac.
Yeah. I do have an update on that. He made a comment. I'm not going to sidetrack too much on that, but
please tell me. I haven't heard it. What did he say about this challenge?
Yeah, he basically opened up about he gave an apology to Isak following the tackle. He basically said that because Arne called the tackle reckless, and what was disappointing again, I shared with you that that clip from ESPN FC. I was disappointed to see. I was disappointed, but I was expecting him to say it anyway because he's from a different era than a lot of these football players are today. But Steve Nicol didn't see anything wrong with the tackle, and he was making excuses for it and the likes. And I was just like, man, Stevie, I know. And I'm not doubting Stevie's allegiance to the team and club, but I was just disappointed that he didn't really understand what people were trying to say, because in his era, maybe that's an understand that as you go in and you try to get a piece, you're going to try to get a piece of the player.
He's just trying to be the guy, isn't he? He's trying to be the guy, Nichols, to say, "Oh, look, he didn't mean to do what he's done to him." But I know he did mean to do what he'd done to him. I think a lot of us do.
He basically said, I texted him, of course, I sent him a text because I didn't want to injure him. I didn't want to do something to hurt him. Of course, I just wanted to try to block the shot, even though I'm like, dude, the shot was already gone.
Long gone before he arrived.
It was long gone.
Long gone before he arrived.
So, like, I'm sure you want to block the shot. Well, then take a different angle towards it, because you're coming at the player.
With one leg, please. With one leg.
Yeah. But he says, and I think it was a bit unlucky for his foot, for how his foot landed between my legs. Pause, I guess. So, yeah, I sent him a text afterwards, and I wanted to wish him all the best for his recovery. That's what I said to him. Yes. He really appreciate the mission.
Between his legs, not his leg. That was the whole thing. What it using like
because you scissored, he scissored him. Yeah,
that's didn't have to do. We could have went for it one-footed, like from the side there, doing it from that angle as well. It just suggests that he wanted to really, put one on him and get him off the pitch.
I just think that, like, if you're looking at a lot of different players, like if I'm looking at other players in the league, I don't think they're making that challenge. I don't think they might make an effort to get back. They might make an effort to try to block the shot. I get that. But they're not making that challenge where they're going to be so reckless that they know that there's a high likelihood that they will end up injuring the player because of impact will occur. And with no regard to the player, they're going into that tackle and just saying, well, wherever happens, happens. Because, I mean, Thomas Frank thought the exact opposite. You know, he's obviously going to back his player. He's obviously going to say, he talked about how a defender will do everything they can to avoid a goal and the likes. I just thought it was like, look, I don't think that Van de Ven went into the tackle thinking that with the presence of mind saying, I'm going to go out and I'm going to hurt this player. I'm not going that far. But what I am going to say is that I believe that Van de Ven went into the tackle not thinking there's a chance that I could end up hurting this player if I don't get this right. And that could be enough of a pause in your actions that you think of some way else to go and try to, defend the shot. Because by the time he got there, with the pace and speed he's going, he is like a wrecking ball. And if you don't get to the ball, especially if you don't get to the ball, then it is a reckless tackle, plain and simple.
Coming in 2 footers on the angle he came in from, because don't forget the ball was on Isaac's left foot. It was over on his opposite side to where he was coming from. To go in 2-footed from that angle, the way to do that, if you're going to try and block it, is to go 1-footed, like, with his right leg there, and try to get your foot in front of the ball where the ball's coming from. But it was long gone anyway, as we've said. By the time he arrived, it didn't have to be like that as tackle. I think he could have come in softer and it would have still been an attempt because it was in vain anyway. I just think it was a spiteful one because he knew it was in vain, and that I think it was.
I just think it was in line with the way that they were playing. That's why when you hear his apology, I'm like, yeah, okay, I get it. You didn't mean to hurt him. You weren't, because you could act. There are players that actively go out to try to intentionally hurt a player. We spoke about Tarkowski, last year at the Everton game. He intentionally tried to hurt McAllister. I think he knew what he was doing, and he did not care if it ended up being a result in taking out a player on our team. That's dirty, and that's why one of the reasons why I can't stand the player. But
it was Bentancur, wasn't it, who stuttered Isaac in the thigh not long before the challenge. I got it wrong. I was saying it was Van de Ven, but it wasn't. It was Bentancur, and he should have been booked for that because he stuttered. Remember, Isaac was down for quite a bit. off that one. And then he got up and played on him. Van der Ven put that one on him. They were after him, weren't they? Like, there was no denying they were after him. And I reckon, now we've got to deal with the absence. I just hope he's sound when he comes back, that it's one he can play his way clear of, given time. But yeah, it's a pain in the arse, like, innit? But we've got to deal with it. Not ideal for our record signing, like, to have him nailed like that and have him out now for a spell. But there you go.
Yeah. I just thought that was like something that we could I thought it was something that was
don't think much of his apology, like Van der Ven's apology. It's nice that he made an attempt to make an apology or whatever it fucking was, but I'm not having it.
Yeah, totally understand that. Let me do something here. Oh, I know why I can't do it. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna get back. So, but we're just talking about back to Semenyo. I'm gonna give you some of my thoughts, because I said how I told you how I was like trying to help out the Coppish guys. And what I mean by that was I was trying to, they were asking, like, where do we go from here? And what do we do? And like, Semenyo's gone. So who's the player that we should go for? And blah, blah, blah. And I did have a player that I thought wouldn't be that bad of an idea, to tell you the truth, of trying to advance something for. But there's other players on this list that I thought I would include too. So I'm going to go through some. You can give me your ideas and your feelings on some of these players that could be alternatives or plan Bs to actually the Semenyo, the missing out on the reported missing out on Semenyo. So let's talk about the board. So first on the board, I would most likely include Michael Olise. He's elite. He's transformative. He is not a realistic, player that we can approach in the January window. So that's the player I would say is that would be the ultimate wish list, of a player to be able to get in the January window. It's not happening. Got it. Good. Well, not to even go there. You don't have to give a comment or even a mention of that. We know that. But maybe we could go for a player like Yann Diomande. He's raw. He's electric. He's fearless. He's already been very productive. He is AFCON bound, though. So we would still have to wait for him to return to be a part of the club. However, we could still maybe get the deal across the table to at least know that February, or maybe even earlier, depending on how far his team goes, he could be an answer. Then there's a player that I think people have been sleeping on a little bit, and that is Bradley Barcola. Champions League quality player, stuck in rotation, by the way, currently. He's not a everyday starter for PSG. Potentially attainable if PSG prioritize balance over depth. He is a player that could be an option, but we'll have to pay pretty hefty of a transfer fee for him. And then there's also the chance that you could go for a Yankuba Minteh. Now, he's Premier League proven. We've faced him in the Brighton match already. He's got pace. He brings a little bit of chaos on the wing. He definitely stretches the pitch because of his width. And he's a type of player who turns games on the edge because he can really, really question other systems that are set to try to stop us, you know? But there is a player that I tried to offer as a suggestion in the chat for Kopish. Sometimes they're good with reading the chat, including the comments in the chat. Sometimes they're not so good with it. And I understand with that because it's not easy if you have a chat that's got, hundreds, if not thousands of people in it. It's difficult to see. Some of the chats go so fast by you, you can't read them all. And on top of that, you can't really always keep in tune with what you got planned for the episode that you're in, or whatever segment of the episode that you're in. But I offered this name, and just bear with me. Just give me a second to bring it out. Bring out the name. I think a player that we should possibly inquire about plays for a team that is most likely going to be relegated. A team that's most likely going to be relegated. And I think a team that would most likely sell if the price was right, with all things considered, because I don't think that they're going to escape relegation this year. And that name is Jarrod Bowen. I know it's very unfashionable to say the player. I know he's an older player. I think he's like 27, 28 years old or something like that right now. But he is relentless. He is reliable. He's Premier League proven. And I personally think he has the qualities of a Liverpool player. Now, why I think West Ham could sell is because not only is he 28, but because he's 28, they would most likely look to sell because they're not going to get anything in return for the player next year, the year following year after that. And because PSR matters, because they're rebuilding again, because they'll probably be relegated, because, some might see that as being throwing in the towel, but some might also see that as an opportunity for them to take money or get some money for the player and utilize it for bringing in some young talent so they can rebuild in the championship and get back to the Premier League. Probably and that would probably be without Jarrod Bowen. I think Liverpool should consider him because he doesn't need adaptation. He needs opportunity. And he also, I think that the player would have the mindset of knowing that this is an opportunity of a lifetime. Jarrod Bowen's probably never thought of playing in Europe or Champions League, at least, because I think he did play. The West Ham did make, I think, to Europe. I think they made the Conference League, right? Didn't they get the Conference League like 2 years ago or something like that? Lee?
I think so, yeah. He's talking about West Ham.
Yeah.
Yeah, they won it, didn't they? They
won the Conference League like 2 years ago or something like that, right? But I doubt that he would ever think that he would ever see Champions League football. Playing for West Ham, I seriously doubt he would think that.
Yeah. That's true.
And I think that this could be an opportunity of a lifetime for him to be a part of this team. And I think that Jarrod Bowen would not make a stink about knowing his role on this team. He would not have to be a starter. He would not make a stink about being a starter. He would make every effort just to whatever role you want him to play. I think he would play that role.
Scored enough goals against us when we've come up against him. He's been a thorn in our side.
Yeah, he scored some bangers again. He scored a banger against us one year. I remember. We ended up winning that game, but he scored a banger. Lee is asking for his wages. I'll tell you what his wages are. Give me 1 second. One quick second. I'll get to my favorite website for wages. right. Currently, and I don't think he's on too bad wages, but we'll see. Hold on a second. Jarrod Bowen makes $150,000. Jarrod Bowen makes 150,000 pounds a week. I think that's well within our budget. Well within the budget, and that's a confirmed salary. One of the websites I use, they give like a green check mark next to the next to salaries that are that have been verified. 150,000 pounds a week. I think that's a doable. What sort of fee though? Now that's a good question. That's a very good question. Very good question. Jeez, I didn't know Paqueta has a release clause. Oof. Interesting. 85 million pound release clause for Paqueta. Interesting.
Were City interested in him?
They were, but I don't think they were going to pay 85 million pounds.
No.
I mean, he's 28 years old too, by the way.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find out what the market value is for him. One second. Let's see. Jarrod Bowen. Let's do it that way. One second. I'm still looking for it. What are your do you have other players that you would consider? Or what do you think about my choice?
There's a few players I consider, but the most pressing need for us obviously are the defenders, aren't they? Because we need more than one actually. But at centre back, I think we're all right at full back. Could actually have Simicast again to pick from at left back. But it's at centre back we need the signings in it right now. And possibly.
But I mean, there is the other pretense that we don't sign anyone too. That we could just not sign anyone.
It's tempting fate, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not always a wise thing to do. Just takes one more bad challenge, or not. Sometimes it's not even a challenge, and we're down to one player.
Apparently, Jarrod Bowen's market value. This is only his market value. So what his price tag would be is a different story. But Jarrod Bowen's market value is 35 million euros.
That all?
Yeah. That's his market value, at least.
Yeah.
You make how about like 30 million pound offer for him. Kubo's a shout, Norm. I love myself. I love Kubo as a player.
He's really direct, and he sometimes Bowen and you can't deny him and he gets in and scores. He'd be an interesting buy for us, wouldn't he? Especially with look at the way with things are with Mo now. and that'd be a cheap Mo replacement. I mean, I
And he
know
could play
Bowen's
striker
not like
too.
dead young, but like he's a good 3 years younger than Mo or something, isn't he?
But he could play striker too. Give him a 2-year contract, play striker, and you know what? In 2 years' time, you could go back. You could go back to West Ham on a free. End his career at West Ham if he wants. Hopefully, West Ham will be back in the Premier League by that time, and he can go back and end his career at West Ham.
It is a good
A few
fee.
years ago, yeah.
Hi, JK.
Hi,
I got JK.
Hi, 12. Hi, Norman and Lee Wiskid as well in the chat. Bowen, for me, go back 2-3 years ago, he was on fire and stuff. I think he's playing in a poor West Ham team right now.
Yeah.
Third off bottom. No, they're third bottom.
They are. They're in 18th place.
Whoa. West Ham, bro. If they get relegated.
And
they can't afford to let him go January. You know what I mean?
Well, that is if they want to try to get out of relegation. Yeah, I agree. He's one of their only saving graces in possibly getting out of relegation.
That's it. And you don't let your best players leave when you're third from bottom, bro. So,
but I mean, maybe you do when you figure it's pretty much
done deal.
I mean, they're 5 points off of Forest, who's in 17th place.
Oh, 5. Well, we beat them there 2-0. And that was probably the worst West Ham display I've seen in years.
Yeah.
They didn't do nothing. I was waiting for the manager. What's his name, bro?
For West Ham?
Yeah. The old Forest manager.
Nuno.
Nuno, yeah. No, it isn't Santos, is it?
What?
What's his second name?
Nuno Santo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got 3 names. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nuno
Yeah.
Espirito. Nuno Espirito Santos.
Santos, yeah.
No, there's no S. It's just Santo.
Yeah, Lopetegui was shit on it, and then Potter came in and he was shit too.
Yeah. They're not doing well.
Nuno's a good coach. He'll sort them out. He'll make them safe, at least a mid-table and that, without a doubt. But it'll take him time. He's got to sort things out. And it probably won't take him that long. That Forest side he had was good, wasn't it? And then had the fallout with the owner. Oh.
I mean, the only other team you could think of doing it to then would be, oh my gosh. You talk about our record. I just pulled up their team and it's got the last, let's say, wow. They've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. They've got an 11-game losing streak. Holy crap. Wolves, that is, not West Ham.
Yeah, Wolves. Oh. Yeah. Wolves,
Still.
yeah, man. Come on.
11 game. They've got an 11-game losing streak so far.
No, if you're a betting man, I'm not just saying. If you sported Man United, Liverpool, Arsenal, you put £10 on Wolves to beat Liverpool at Anfield, you make a lot of money.
Probably would if it happened.
But for me, that's the mentality game. That one. It don't matter who you're playing nowadays. Every team's got someone who can score. Concentration levels have to be high. It don't matter if it's Wolves or Real Madrid or whoever. And that's what's been our downfall this season. We drop our concentration levels depending on our position. And the Sunderland game, we did that. We were at home, newly promoted team. We should have beaten, bro. And the same in the Leeds game. I think we allowed Leeds to get back into that game. So the mentality side has to stay strong against Wolves. I know it's Wolves, but it's the way football is now.
Yeah, I was trying to look at some options because I went through the options that could be players that you bring in that might maybe even have that are either. I mean, Bowen would be a stopgap. I'm not saying that he would be someone that you structure your team around for the future, but I don't see why Jarrod Bowen wouldn't. I think Jarrod Bowen would be an exceptional player for us, and I think a 2-year deal, get it over the line and keep it moving, and and he could play striker, he could play obviously on the wing for you as well. And you could keep it going like that. But if not that, I don't think Minteh is going to be a move that Brighton makes. Barcola is going to take a lot of money to get him out of PSG. And he's a player that's not being featured enough, apparently. And that's why he's a name that's being marketed out there.
Barcola?
Yeah, Barcola for PSG.
Barcola. Okay. I thought you said bipolar. I was like, huh? Who's that?
No, not bipolar. No, that's Diomande is someone, but he's an AFCON, so that doesn't help us really, unless his team gets knocked out. And then I'm looking at and then you have
Dortmund's good.
You like? Oh, so you do like the
Adeyemi.
Yeah, Adeyemi.
Yeah, he's good, man. Undercover good. Like, he can score, he can run. He's a good little player, bro. Even Guirassy. When you look at Guirassí's goal ratios, he's a goal machine, man.
Mm-hmm. I just can't see it. I'm not really that big of. There was a time when I thought he was, a promising prospect, but.
How
I remember
old is he now, off your top of your head?
If you heard some of the stuff that they were talking about is connected to Adeyemi, you don't want to bring that kind of player to the team.
What, East Coast, West Coast type of stuff, isn't it? Yeah, I heard something about that.
Yeah. Apparently his wife, I think, is like a like a gangster rapper or something like that, or a rapper. And she's been arrested. She's been arrested or something, allegedly. I got put allegedly in it because I had to confirm it.
They just want to sell a new album, didn't they?
Yeah.
Remember back in the days when a big artist was going to make an album, he got arrested. News was all about this guy got arrested, and what happens? All his albums go up, sales. Thanks for your kind words, Norman, in the chat as well. Thanks, man.
Let me see. Pretty sure it was. Let me double check. She has some legal trouble in November 2025 for possessing prohibited weapons, resulting in a hefty fine. No jail time, but it's a hefty fine. She had firearms or something like that. She had to pay $500,000.
Mad.
Yeah. Something crazy. And then she was also in some something dealing with something about she was part of the situation, but reports focus on Adeyemi's fine and mentioned the discovery and their belongings, not her arrest. So 450,000 euros basically is what she had to pay in court fees or something. Yeah. Merry Christmas to you too.
Well, he can leave her there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Bro? He can leave her there. He can come over himself.
Yeah.
I'm saying, play some
ball.
I
guess so. That's just wild.
But he is a good little player, man. I like him.
Yeah. I just don't know if it'd be interesting because it'd be an opportunity for a player that he'd have to really look at the opportunity as the opportunity of a lifetime. I know that Dortmund is a good big club. I know that he does get, he's playing on a big scale in Germany with Dortmund and obviously in the Champions League and the likes, but still, that's a lot. It's a lot. Yeah, she was caught with a gun. That's not good. But that's his wife, not, or I believe it's his wife. His partner. I don't know if they're married or not, but his partner. But getting back to what we're looking at. Getting back to what we're looking at. I know the list isn't that glamorous. It's not maybe even romantic or it's not something that's going to go viral probably. But where would you go with that? Where would you go with Liverpool's direction right now? Where would you go? Either one of you.
Well, we just need to keep on this run, don't we? Like, of not losing, and hopefully get more wins. Just start getting more wins in a row, starting with Wolves and Leeds. Definitely need some signings in January. Like, that's without a doubt. That has to be done, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, big up, Jimmy, by the way.
Hi, Jimmy. What's up? But for me, bro, the direction we're going right now, we're sort of hovering on that line of one game could get him the sack. Because you know what football fans are like. They're ready to jump on him already anyway. So any game we lose, he's going to get a lot of heat. Still, we need a central defender. So January is in a week's time. Hopefully we get 2 players in. Minimum. Because a central defender and a winger would be not bad 2 additions. You know? I think midfielder-wise, DM, I know me and Norman always wanted DMs. I feel the 4 in midfield sort of handles that, if you know what I mean. The bodies in that handles what one DM would do on his own. So the numbers in the midfield we've got sort of covers that DM role for now. But in the bigger picture, man, I needed top DM in there for the future. But coming this January, I'll go winger and a centre back.
Winger and a centre back. Okay. Bring up this team too. What are you thinking, Lee?
Couple of centre backs.
Couple of centre backs. Okay. Would you go for this isn't a centre back, but would you go for a striker or a forward, basically?
Not right now. In the summer, I'd leave it till the summer and see how things are then. Because Gakpo's meant to be fit again now, isn't he? Virtually. And Mo will be coming back in a couple of weeks, not at the moment, but definitely in the summer. I think we should be looking. But for now,
what would you do? What would you do if you saw on January 1st, you saw in the headlines, Liverpool make surprise deal for Real Betis star Antony? What would you do? Would that be? Would you crash out?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Oh man,
the money he cost for United, I thought he might have been all right for them, but just didn't happen, did it, with him?
I mean, it's not going to happen, but he's already made the transfer to Real Betis, but it'd be funny. It'd be funny.
Happy birthday to Jimmy's brother, man. 40th.
Oh, get out. 40 years old, huh? Happy birthday to your younger brother, your baby brother.
McAllister's birthday as well today. Yeah.
Big up. That is pretty dope. Oh my goodness. What would that be? Well, since we're talking about, players or what we do for the future, I'm saying I was trying to explain some of the, give some answers, at least from my perspective, to the chat from the Coppers crew, because they're asking these questions, very interesting questions they're asking about, where we go, who do we go for, and this and that. And I was also saying that, maybe we don't go for really much of anyone in the January window. And I'm not advocating that we shouldn't, but I am saying that maybe we will see our team simply recover the players that went out on loan and utilize them in roles for the team, maybe, and also call upon some other players like our youth academy players to have heightened roles in this season, because I remember a lot of people in the beginning of the season were very bullish on Rio being the understudy for Cody and getting quality minutes. Now, other than maybe an occasional 5, 10, 15 minutes of desperation time, most likely, he hasn't really gotten a solid start in a game lately. And that's what I'm talking about, Rio. But maybe with the return of Elliott, maybe with this opening for an opportunity for Rio, is that enough for you to calm your fears?
It could be an opportunity for him, couldn't it, now? With the lack of availability of choices, I don't see why he wouldn't be getting some minutes actually against Wolves and Leeds, because we're down to just Ekitike and Chiesa, aren't we? Unless Gakpo is back from his injury. But even then, if Gakpo's back from his injury, he's been out a few weeks, missed quite a few weeks of football. He needs a little bit of time to get up to playing to a level type of thing. So he wouldn't come if he's available for the next game at the weekend. It'll be a bench thing, won't it? It'll just be an option on the bench. You won't put him straight in at the house.
Bonker says Slot said Rio had his minutes. Key word is had.
And what did he do? He won us a game against Newcastle.
Yeah, he won us a game against Newcastle, and then it drifted off as getting really no game time, and I wouldn't even campaign for Rio to get minutes over Chiesa at this moment in their careers. I want to see Rio get minutes, of course, but I don't want to see Rio get I want to see Rio get quality minutes. I don't want to see him get garbage minutes or 6 minutes that, he's going to be thrown into a match for 6 minutes or something like that at the end of the game or something, or when we're down 3-1 or something, and and then he gets thrown into a match, where we're just running, haphazardly all over the pitch.
I'd even start him against Wolves. Why not? If you can't play any of the team, he's going to get the start for. Wolves is the only team you can get a start against, really. I mean, the bottom of the league got 2 points. He has to start at least him. Or who else is there, bro?
Right.
There's not one really there, because what Lee just said, you've got Ekitike, Chiesa, Gakpo, who's probably not much ready, and that's it. So you could even do a Chiesa right, Rio left, and Ekitike in the middle, and play 3 in midfield. Sabotla ain't going to be there, so you can go Grubbin, Birch, Jones, Wirtz in the midfield.
Yeah, you could.
That's how I would go. I like Rio. I think when I see him play, he looks adventurous. He wants to go forward, and he knows what he's doing as well. Get better. I hope you get better, Dara. Hope you get better.
What's wrong? Dara has
Got a cold.
a little cold.
Everyone's feeling rough, ain't they?
Yeah, everybody's a little down. Oh, it is. The weather's kind of miserable out. Somebody else. Big up to you. Big up to you. Merry Christmas to you. Merry Christmas, and we'll have episodes before the New Year, so I'll hold off on saying Happy New Year. But Merry Christmas to you. I guess we could go into that. That was going to be my last segment, but but wait, actually, no. Before we do though, let's just talk about this because we will get into what we can do against the Wolves, what options we're left with, and the current options that we have. But I want to talk about this because Harvey Elliott keeps hovering over conversations. I think, like a ghost in Ghostbusters. Like it's weird. Like he, like it is a weird one because he's had 6 starts. He had 6 starts last season. He's had no league starts until after the title was won. And now Liverpool are thin in their lineup, and suddenly depth matters again. Slot has been clear. The focus is on the players available, not recalling, not revisiting, not reshuffling. But his answer, I know, was a really veiled answer when asked about Harvey Elliott. He said Harvey Elliott is Aston Villa's, I'm paraphrasing. He said he's Aston Villa's player, basically, is what he said. And I'm like, no, correction. He is Liverpool's player that is playing for Aston Villa. Mm-hmm. Okay? That's the key. I think sometimes Arne does so much damage and is like, sometimes maybe saying less is better.
Bro, I think the one problem I've always had with Arne is he's not very bright on how to give people answers. Mm-hmm. I love to give him a little briefing every time he does a press conference. I'll be like, bro, don't say this, say this if you want a smooth ride. Because at the end of the day, you can say, you know what, Harvey Elliott's a Liverpool player. I wish him minutes at Villa. And knock the nail on the head.
Simple as.
You got to be... one thing I realise is there's no joker in the whole Liverpool club helping him out of what to say. Because he's had some nightmare press conferences, I think sometimes with humans, because they're so adamant in portraying an image, they carry on. Mm-hmm. Arnie's in the game to say, people say, yeah, Arne Slot's a serious football guy. You can tell in the way he gives answers, the way he tries to come across and stuff. Images all well and good, but sometimes you got to use your heart and your soul and your mind and have a bit of love in you and say, you know what, Harvey Elliott, last season he scored 3 Champions League goals in a row. Okay? Mm-hmm. He got us the winner in Paris. And I always bring these points up when I talk about Harvey, but that was last season and he did it. And all of a sudden now he is clubless. Let's be straight now. Mm-hmm. He's like Arne Slot's like, I don't really want to bother with him. Emery's like Harvey who, Right. So I feel sorry for the lad, and he's got a top heart as well, Harvey Elliott. That's one thing of what this team's missing. That spirit, that fight, that I love Liverpool energy. And that's what Harvey Elliott's got as well. And that made him a better player. He was playing for the club he loved when he was a kid. So Harvey Elliott ain't everyone's favourite player. I understand that. But sometimes in games, you need a Harvey Elliott type of lad, happy to be a sub and to play for his boyhood club that he's always dreamed about. And he's like, yo, when I get on that pitch, I'm going to score. We ain't got no other players like that, really. Chiesa, yeah, on the bench, but he didn't get no minutes. And that's the other thing with Harvey Chiesa. He don't know how to keep the boat sweet. That's one bad thing. Jurgen Klopp was the master at it. I ain't seen no one better than him. Because even Ferguson had big arguments with players. Fergie did it. I remember the days. But that's one thing that Arne Slot he probably would have the smoothest season this season if from day one when he came in, he was like, you know what? Look at all these players there. Virgil, Salah, could have gone to any team in the world, but they all stayed at Liverpool. What was Jurgen Klopp's secret to that? You know, to keeping these guys sweet. And that's every player in the squad. I can't really mention names that Jurgen really had stress with all the time, you know? Yeah.
Oh
Salah,
no, I know.
you know what I mean, though?
I've got to
So,
share with you. I thought about you when I was watching the episode. That I gotta share it. That there was a great piece. I'll even share it with Alante. Maybe it'll change his opinion on Jurgen. I know. Playing with him. He's just joining us too. Big up Alante. But it was a really cool episode. It was a really cool segment that it took interviews that they did with the captains of Jurgen Klopp's captains, basically, and they gave insight on. It was with Milner and obviously Hendo, but they gave insight on the coach and like some of his approaches and such. You know, like there's a statement that he said that was so cool. Like, you know, he made. I'll paraphrase it, but he was like, you know, when you're out on the pitch, you give 100%. You know, what he so, but like. I think it was like they were at some event, I think, and they had just lost or something had just happened where they weren't in the best of spirits. But they're like, but he was like, you know, when you're off the pitch, you give 100%. When you're on the pitch, you give 100%. And he's like, and he goes, and when you party, you give 100% when you party. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. Like he was just like, because he was at this event where like kids were involved. There was going to be. And people are going to be like coming up to him, and he's just like, just don't sit in the corner and mope and be, you know, and be sourpusses. Like actually get involved and recognize the fact that, you know, we're just always give your all in everything you do in life. And it was really, really cool to hear him say that. And like, you know, Hendo talked about how one time there was like one or two players were complaining about the late hour of training, right? And they went to Henderson. They're like, "Yo, can you go and talk to Klopp about, you know, maybe changing the hour of practice because, you know, it's late in the day and like we're tired and we're getting tired and this and that, yada yada." And Henderson went up to him and was like, it's not everyone on the club, but there are some on the team that are, you know, that are complaining about the hour of practice. And he's like, who? That's what Klopp said to him. He's like, who? And he's like, oh, you know, and he's like, I'm not gonna throw anyone under the bus. So he's like, look, there's a couple of people. It's not the entire team, but it's only a couple of people. You know, he's like, I'm not gonna give you their names, but there are people that are out there that want you to change your hour of the time of practice. And Jurgen answers, all right, well, tell those guys to come to my office and talk to me directly. And Henderson went back to them and was like, it's not happening. It's like, you know, like, get over it. It's not going down. But it was just interesting, the different approach that some of these coaches take when it comes to communication and comes to you know, getting the team on the same page and the likes. It was just very interesting. But I'll share with you the episode. It's like a 25-minute episode. It's pretty cool episode actually. All right. Well, I enjoyed that trip down memory lane, but to bring everyone back on the same page, because the panel's mighty quiet on that one. Everyone doing good? Everyone still with us? You still with us on the panel?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, all right. All right. Just making sure.
You know what it is? We don't talk over each other.
Oh, I know. It's just, I started talking about Jurgen and those stories, and I was like, oh no, I might have lost you guys. But yeah, it is. Do you think Harvey Elliott could get some path towards redemption with this team?
Get some minutes like at the moment because we're minus a lot of players at the moment.
Would you use Harvey Elliott as like a, now that we play with a 10, he could play as a 10, but could we maybe utilize him as a fill-in for a right wing, position or something like that too?
Yeah, that's the main other position, like, isn't it, with him? He likes to drift out there. It's just with the amount of absences we've got at the moment, but we won't have them hopefully for too long, like we have Gakpo and Saliba. He is rumoured to be fit enough for the squad, Cozy, apparently, but it would be a bench thing, wouldn't it?
It would be. And I do want to clarify because I heard, I'm not going to call it misinformation. Maybe it was just not accurate information. But when it comes to Harvey Elliott and Emery rates Harvey Elliott as a player. But because of Villa's financial situation, their PSR, Villa wants to go for a forward in the January window. They have a real opportunity to make a push for not only top 4, but maybe the Premier League title if they're lucky. And they want to solidify their forward options on the team. Now, Harvey Elliott's not a forward. He's some might say you're loosely classify him as a right wing, but Harvey Elliott becomes expendable because they want to utilize the $35 million that they would have used on Harvey Elliott. They want to utilize that to go towards the January market to bring in a forward to solidify their front attack. And they feel as though right now, currently, they are strong. Their strongest, their midfield is just one of their strongest components on the team. So he becomes expendable. He's not going to factor into the team because of the options that are on the team. So I did want to make that clarification because it's not like there's more to it than just, Harvey's not good enough because that's the narrative that's getting pushed now is, Harvey couldn't make it at Liverpool and he can't make it at Villa. So Harvey's not good enough to play in the Premier League or something like that. That's the narrative that are some people are trying to push. I don't think that's an accurate narrative, to be honest with
you. I reckon he should have gone to Germany, bro. Quasi was saying it today, and I was like, yeah. I think if he went to Germany, he would have probably got a bit more game time. But he's got the right sort of football brain and personality to make it. I think he's a good little player, Harvey Elliott.
I agree. I understand what you're saying. I'm just saying also, Villa in their squad have 3 forwards: Ollie Watkins, Daniel Malin, so I know because I have him on my fantasy team, and I can't think. They have another forward on their team. He's from the Ivory Coast. I can't think of his name.
Oh yeah. What's his name?
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I think the name begins with G.
Yeah, it does.
Not great. He's not great.
Evan.
Guillaume. Guillaume, from Nice. Yeah. He's meant to be a striker, but they always play him out wide, weirdly enough.
Yeah, but that's their. I don't think they have other. That's the extent to their other forward options on their team. That's pretty much it. They have a boatload of midfielders, though. They have a boatload of midfielders. But they have, but their forward selections is minimal. And think about it. If an Ollie Watkins goes down or something like that, or all of a sudden you're left relying on either Malin playing your striker role or the Gassard guy playing your striker role. As for a Villa team to get you through the season, no, that's not happening. So
And what
they're going to make. I think they're going to try to make a real big push for a big name player or somewhat big name player.
And Watkins ain't really been firing. If you look at it, it's mainly the midfielders who are getting the goals.
Yeah.
Midfields win. Well, they always say defense wins titles, but I think midfields win titles.
But that's the thing. Look at I don't know all of our midfielders. I know they have a boatload of midfielders, but I'm just trying to go off the top of my head. They have that, or at least good midfielders that probably would get minutes, significant minutes, if not get minutes before Elliott would be able to break into the list. And Morgan Rogers is top of that list, right? Tielemans is on that list. Onana is on that list, probably, right? McGinn, even though he's like, probably not. I don't think McGinn's more talented than Harvey Elliott. I just think McGinn fills in a lot of that, tough as nails.
Yeah, he does, doesn't he? Yeah, makes it hard for Harvey to get any minutes. Like, you do wonder just why, it happened at all, given, the little time he got to show anything.
I'm sure if they have Boubacar Kamara is on their team, right?
Yeah.
That's like five players right there.
Yeah, I mean, he had a lot more minutes under Klopp, didn't he, than he's ever had under Slot. Slot used him a bit, and he got the winner at Paris, didn't he? And a few other. He used to go on as a sub under Jurgen, didn't he? And do well as an impact sub in Jurgen's final season.
Yeah, but Jurgen played him in big games as well. Started him a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. Jurgen, and under Jurgen Klopp, he was the most used sub under Jurgen Klopp, actually. In his last year, at least, he was the most used sub. He had the most appearances for as off the bench. I don't know. I remember Brian graced our chat a couple of days ago, and he was talking. He's like putting big question mark behind the whole Slot is holding him accountable for the Plymouth ordeal, and that Plymouth was his one and only audition, being for Harvey Elliott. I heard Cal earlier today use that as something he referenced to. He said, Slot must hold grudges because of the Plymouth thing when it comes to some of these players and not giving Harvey and Elliott a chance is because of the Plymouth deal. I don't really go with that narrative. I don't believe that narrative. Do you agree with that narrative? Anyone can just jump in. I'm not going to call on names. Just jump in.
It was the Plymouth game. Do you reckon it was the final straw? What do you mean?
That's the narrative that's going around.
Well, it was his handball, that killed us that day. And we didn't get back in it from that point, really. It could have been that annoys Arnie, don't know. Because he went on after that, and made some useful, contributions to the season, but that might have, incurred his wrath, made him, likely to get rid of him type thing. We just don't know, do we?
Bless up, Pops. Have a good one, bro. Yeah.
Let me, pick up Pops. Bayesian Reds representing. Bayesian Reds had a wild one with Flawless just recently. That was a wild episode. The streets was getting saucy with Flawless. It was funny. Let me hold on. I have to look it up for you, but let me look it up. He wants me to read out the That's a while back too, so it's gonna take me a while to find it. But he wants me to read out the roster or the lineup for that game against Plymouth. What was the date on that game? Does anyone know?
Would have been January, wouldn't it? It was the third round of the FA Cup, or had we had a round before that? Can't remember. We might have had a round before that, but
I thought it was in February, but okay, January. Let me see.
No, it might have been February because we might have had a round before then, before we got knocked out.
Yeah, because we played. Did we play Accrington before we played them?
I think we did, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. We did, and it was in.
Yeah.
It was in
fourth
February.
round, end of Jan. Oh, is it Feb?
February 9th was the date. February 9th.
So
it was.
So
it was their lineup was. That seeing that lineup still makes me like.
Oh yeah, Kelleher, Endo, McConnell, right back, Joey.
He should still beat Plymouth that game.
Yeah, I'm not mad. Like I said at the time, I'm not mad at Slot with the team. I'm not really mad. We didn't need to go full strength.
We went the front line, and it's so sad. I don't know what to say. It's sad because like it's a reminder of the the passing of Jota, because he started that game for us actually.
Yeah, him, Chiesa. I forgot the other person.
Lucho was on the left.
Yeah, so
it was a solid team. I mean, Chiesa, Jota, Lucho up top. Then you had Elliott, Endo, Leone in the middle. Then you had McConnell, excuse me.
Right back.
Kwanzaa, Gomez,
Joey,
and Tsimikas on the left.
Yes, left. Then Pellerin goal. Yeah.
That's a
good team, man.
That's a good team.
It's a team that will be winning 9 times out of 10, but it can happen. That's the problem, isn't it? Just didn't click. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like it was the team we had to go up against when we went up against Villa that one year when we had the 2 competitions at the same time. I believe it was Villa. Wasn't it Villa that we faced?
Yeah.
That game?
Mm-hmm. We had to play our team, didn't we?
Yeah, we played with our U21s.
Yeah, big up Norm.
Norm talking about. Oh yeah, you know what though? I just thought about that. Maybe K-Mac's prediction can come true in the January. The January window can maybe bring his prediction true.
Yeah. I told you.
He's doing 4D chess. He's doing 4D chess. He's in the future. He's on some quantum leap type stuff. Maybe.
I told you Isaac will get injured and we'll end up getting Osimhen.
And then we'll sell Isaac. 125 million down the drain.
Maybe. Pop is saying, look at that lineup and see how they have been treated.
Pretty rough.
No, I agree. McConnell was out. McConnell's actually, I think, another player that's returning on loan.
He hasn't got much game time at Ajax either.
Nope. Mm-hmm. And that's because also, I think, because the coaching change.
Yeah, Heitita. Yeah, he didn't do well. Yeah.
We could be getting half a team's worth of players back off loan.
The loans are just
there's off of the Plymouth starting 11. There are only 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, technically, I'm gonna go players that are on the team physically right now, and there's only 4 players on the starting lineup that are still with the team: Chiesa, Endo, Leone, and Gomez. Lucho obviously is in Germany. Rest in peace, Jota. Elliott is in, or temporarily at Villa. Connell, Ajax, like you said. Kwanzaa's in Germany. Kelleher is at Brentford. Tsimikas is in Roma temporarily. And to tell you the truth, 1, 2, 3. And 3 of those players are most likely to return off a loan. Elliott, Tsimikas, and McConnell are all 3 players that are possibly going to return off a loan. How many of them play? I would say this. Look, right now, yes, go into the market if we can get a Schlotterbeck, or if we can get we're not going to get a Bastoni or anything like that. But if we can get some players, a player like if we can tempt Crystal Palace to move Guehi, which they're not, I don't believe they will. Go and get that as a player. Bring those players in, certainly. But Tsimikas coming back. Tsimikas would then become left back coverage, like third string left back coverage, if you want to call it that. But you'll see Robbo probably playing left center half or something to those lines.
We'll have to. Well, we either him or Gravenberch if we get one more injury at centre back. 2 players, like with Endo out, it'd be between Robertson and Gravenberch. I think Arne would probably be more inclined to put Gravenberch there now and Arne, and that I don't want him to continue in midfield.
No, I wouldn't be surprised if you saw McConnell play like right center half for us or something, maybe something silly. I'm not saying I want to see it. It's not ideal, but it's just that's just the chances are you'll see players covering in positions that they normally don't cover, but because of necessity, they will have to play those roles. We're talking about a Dutch coach here, who obviously has no issues or problems about playing players out of position. I mean, sometimes it looks like he prefers it over playing players in position. So
the squad, looks quite small all of a sudden, doesn't it? When it's it hasn't took that many injuries actually to do that. But,
probably we've got new fitness regime.
Well, if you were there's a name here that got floated that I saw that I was just like, oh man, we're back to this guy. But I don't hate on the player or anything like that. But I just thought that this was kind of like, we're moving on type situation. But apparently for 20 million euros.
Oh yeah, I know you mentioned him.
And he has a wage. His wages are high though, because he's got 12 million wages in a statement. Okay.
Is it League Arthur?
No, it's not League. It's not League. League goes for no less than 20 million. No less than 20 million.
That's 20 million for one leg.
Yeah.
One leg.
Yeah.
And 10 for Tracy and the other.
Yeah, I'm about to say you gotta ask Tracy about that, but still.
Yeah. That's what
He's his agent.
He's his agent. She's his agent too. He's not necessarily fluid. He's not necessarily subtle. He might not even be Slot style of a player per se, but he is a force. He does have some ability to, bring about the essence of a natural striker or natural center forward. If you want to attain that, he's got some structure to him. He changes how teams defend against you if he's in that front lineup. Is Dusan Vlahović a name that you would like, you wouldn't mind, you wouldn't be opposed to? I'll put it that way.
We didn't go well for him at Juventus, did it?
No.
Probably
I wasn't going to say, I'm not saying Memphis Depay. I'm not saying Memphis Depay.
No, he's not a player like that. I'd be interested in. I don't think Vlahović at this point in time.
For me, no, as well, right? No. Yeah, he's a goal scorer, but right now, that's probably the last thing on my mind. If you're going to look at signing wise, do we need a striker? Yeah, no. We've got Ekatike. We've got a Chiesa and a Capco who can play there. You know, when Ekatike needs a rest or whatever. I wouldn't really worry about the striker situation. We're always going to score goals. I'll be looking at a centre back. Vlahović is good, but nah, not for me.
I would say go all in on like I like their if I was going to go Juventus way, I would go all in for the what's his name Yildiz, the Turkish player.
Oh yeah, Kenan. Yeah, what a guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to mention him earlier when you was asking. Yeah,
But it wouldn't make sense because he's a number 10. We don't need a number 10.
I'm just saying he's a player that would be fantastic to have.
Oh, yeah, he's good.
He can play left wing too.
yeah, he can play wing.
Yeah, but he's not cut out. We don't need someone like that. We need a proper out winger. And he's not as good as he is, he's not it. He's a good player, but he just doesn't fit in our team for me.
Yeah, true. Okay. I feel that as well in a weird
way. Winger, Diomande, is it Diomande that you said?
Trust me, Diomande, he's the guy to get. I've been watching him at Leipzig this season, and again, it's he's still young, but he's going to be a player. He's someone we should be targeting. If not in the summer, then next year. So when Mo goes, then yeah. For me, he's going to be, honestly, he is quality. He's only 19. He's going to be something special.
Norm is mentioning Omar Marmoush.
Bundesliga teams anyway, just as a matter of course, and he'll come to our attention, hopefully.
He's saying, Norm's mentioning Omar Marmoush. Omar Marmoush is apparently going to become expendable now that they are acquiring Semenyo. That's the report. That's the report, at least, being put out there. Now, whether that ends up becoming true or not, that's another thing. But for right now, it is a possibility that he would become available because he would be making room for Semenyo to be a part of the club. It's just a player out there. We're talking about Juventus. I think he's a good player though. So no is yes or no on Vlahović for 20. I don't know what's 20 million euros in pounds. What is that, like 15, 16 million?
About that, yeah.
Yeah, about that. Yeah.
So for 15, for a little bit over what we spent, I mean, that's basically, I guess we go to Italy for the bargain deals, apparently. But since we got Chiesa for like a little bit less than that, right? Would you go and do that? Somebody LFC is saying Asperilla. Yasir Asperilla plays for Girona. Big up Daz, by the way.
Oh, bless up Daz. Long time, man.
Big up Daz, you know.
Long time, bro. Hope you are, man. Hope you are. I think Norman was talking about, I think he's Algerian. Mohamed Amura. I think he plays in Germany.
Oh, you're talking about you're talking you're talking about Amura?
Yeah, I think I heard his name months past.
I saw that name. What's his name? He's a really good content creator. He's got three names. He's got 3 names in his name. James. What's his name? Shoot, I'm gonna go blank on his name. And he sometimes brings people like myself like smaller, up and coming content creators on his show too. I'm trying to think of what his name is. Hold on, I'll bring it up because I just saw the piece. He did something. It was a really interesting piece too, by the way, that he did. It was on basically what it was that he used he probably used AI or something along those lines, but it was something that he they broke down who would be like the best acquisition for every team in the Premier League, and for James Lawrence Alcott, that's his name, James Lawrence Alcott. And for Liverpool, it was that player that you just mentioned from he's from Real Betis, though. That's the player. Do you know what I'm talking about? He's from Real Betis. He's a midfielder, and his name is he's Spanish. His name is Sergey Altamira. 24 years old, 6'2", Spanish player. He pronounced it Getafe, right? Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Spanish.
He originally was, or he's with Getafe on a free, and then he went to Real Betis. This guy plays. The reason why he would be possibly ideal for us is because he's a center mid, but he's more of his primary position is DM, and he is a very good DM. Apparently, he's good at ground duels, good at long balls, and Real Betis got him for £1.3 million, which is crazy. So right now, his market value is at £17 million, basically. So maybe an offer of like 25 million or something like that could get him through the door. It's an interesting player. Keep an eye on him.
I'm gonna write these down and have a look, see how they progress and stuff. Yeah, I think the name's Norman. I think it's Thuram Kone.
Oh, is that who he's talking about? Oh, okay, that's different.
I think so. I remember them days, them shows. Do you remember them days?
Yeah.
Oh.
I do, yeah. Kone got a bad injury around the time we were linked with him, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He went on like it was all right, but Kone got a bad injury.
That's just like Thurman, right? Well, not Thurman. Who's the player? We're going for Kone, and we're going for another player.
Thuram.
Yeah.
Thuram's all right. Good little player. He gets in the French team.
But he ended up getting an injury right around that time too. Norm says that was it.
Their names popped up a few weeks ago. I can't remember who mentioned it, but them two names popped up, man. That if you want a midfielder or whatever, I don't know who said it, but I think Thuram's all right, bro. I think he's a good little player. I wouldn't really get another attacker, I would rather get a winger. Like if you want to play, like I wouldn't get another striker, but I'd get an attacker in that way of a winger and a centre back. Yeah.
Okay. Well, Vlahović is a 3 no's on the panel for Vlahović, right?
Yeah.
Is that what you guys are saying?
Yeah,
3 no's. Interesting. Even for 15 million pounds, huh? All right. Interesting. Well, let's get into this then. I'll bring up we did this yesterday, but I'll bring up the let me bring up the builder here. Bring up a quick scenario of it. And we can do this. talk about our next subject. Bring it up right here. And that's basically the last segments I have here is, and I do have a little Christmas or holiday Reds moment of Zen too. This is where we're going to figure out what it is that we think is going to happen in this Wolves game, because whether Liverpool wants something in January or whether the long-term plan is whatever conversations are happening behind the scenes that is going to be a surprise in January, it doesn't change the fact that there's a game this weekend and Liverpool are low on supplies, in the sense of low on players. No Isak, no Dominic, no Salah, no Gomez, no Endo. We all know it's 50-50 on Gakpo. It's 50-50 on Bradley. It's looking more likely that they'll play. But if it's 50-50, I don't want to necessarily say that you want to put them into roles that they have to be relied on from a going point. You'd rather see them go in for 15, 20 minutes at the end of the game as opposed to be put in for, 50, 60 minutes of a game. So this becomes less about the perfect lineup for Liverpool and more about the possible lineup that we could rock and roll with. There are some options out there because Slot doesn't have the luxury right now. He has a lot of constraints, and great managers are defined by what they do with the availability. And if he's ever going to be deemed as being a great manager, then he has to figure this one out. So option one. Let's bring up the options. They're talking about in the chat, but let me bring up these options for all you guys here, because it is a good question. We tried to answer this yesterday as to what we think Slot's going to go with. And also do this too. So, well, first off, Thomas Bosley is out, so I'm going to just put in another name just in case. I'm going to put in the name that I want to see, but there's the first option is Jeremy Frimpong plays on the right. We start with Frimpong.
Yeah.
Let me make sure all the rest of them are in there. Okay.
That looks most likely to me of what we should have. If Bradley's ready. If Bradley's not ready, Frimpong would have to go to right back. We'd have to find another solution over there, which could be Chiesa. Probably would be. I find it hard. The cleanest. See why
this is the cleanest solution. The cleanest solution is Frimpong on the wing. If Connor Bradley's fit, that is, keeps the structure familiar, keeps it similar to what we were used to seeing, and uses Frimpong in a role that I think is one of his best roles on the team. He is a right back technically.
Bradley is all right, and now he's just fitness. So we can have both of them available, because we haven't had that yet since we've had the pair of them. Both of them available for a while. See what we get going, with different formations, maybe with different lineups, blending them with other players. I just hope he's okay anyway, and he can play now, Bradley, because I reckon that'll be it. That'll be the lineup. I'd imagine. I can't see him having anything else than that if that's what he's got available.
Well, he's not a traditional fullback. We all know that, but he's a vertical player. He wants space. He wants transitions. He wants movement, and he wants to make moments. So he came on the Spurs, changed the rhythm, got an assist too, by the way, in the little bit of time he did play. Got a bloody lip as well, but looked like a player who...
Yeah, to me, it's unimportant that it got a touch, landed straight on Hugo's head, and Romero's efforts to claim a foul were hilarious.
Yeah, maybe. This one has... Go ahead.
No, go on.
I was going to say this one has the fewest question marks on why is he starting type, situations. I think on the list. It's the option. It's definitely a decent option, probably his first option. You think the most, as Lee says, possibly the most likely option that he will go with. But there is another option that he could go with. The other option, and I'm here, I'll take this down for 1 quick second. The other option he could go with is an emotional one. And why I say it's an emotional one, because some might see it as being a risky one. I don't think so. I think it's a long overdue one. And that is Chiesa has started one Premier League game for Liverpool. And it wasn't good. Let's put it that way. But context matters. The season was over. The game meant nothing. The structure was gone. The time would be different, blah, blah, blah. But this time would be pressure on him. This time would be relevance. And sometimes a player needs to be in a relevant game. This could be his Plymouth all over. Now, Chiesa offers some unpredictability. He offers penetration. He offers something Wolves wouldn't easily prepare for, because I don't think that the Wolves are expecting Chiesa to be out there running around, and going at them with his runs. I know he would offer a little bit of he would probably look a little rusty being in the starting role. But I still think he could be dangerous. So, if Frimpong is still needed at right back, I would say start Chiesa. It'd be Ali. Here, let me bring up the lineup. Change it on the fly here. Wirtz could start on the right. He could play on the right. I have that as another option, but. Yeah, Daz must have saw my got a sneak peek at my options here. That's my third option. But it would be Ali, and then what we would do here is just make it easy so I don't have to move that around. It'd be whoops. Chiesa. It'd be Frimpong, Konate, Virgil, Kirkes. Then you have Jones, Graf, Chiesa, McAllister, Wirtz, and Ekitike.
Mm-hmm.
Now, would you be okay with that lineup?
Yeah, I'll be fine with that.
Yeah, but would Arnie? I'd be sound with it myself to see Chiesa start again. I think the more likely thing, the more likely thing is Bradley. But if he's not fit, then he's got to restart Chiesa unless it's Rio.
Right. If Bradley's not fit, this becomes more of a given.
Viable.
Yeah.
I'll drop McAllister though. I'll play Trey.
You love Trenioni. I'll give you credit. I'll give you mad credit, Monte. That's bold.
Yeah. I mean, it's again. Look, Wolves. I mean, there's no harm. McAllister again. He's been getting away with murder. He's been having stinkers after stinkers, and listen, man, it's gonna be something different. Yeah.
I'd rather put Wirtz where McAllister is, McAllister on the bench, and put in Rio on the left.
I'm holding out hope that he will just sort of click into gear.
Or that.
Okay, well, you guys are obviously cheating because you're looking at my
smile on his face will be justified then.
You're looking at my cheat sheet here, or you're looking on my test paper. Okay, because all right. Third option, because I said there would be three options, right? Let me bring down this right here. All right. Third option, and I think this is possibly the most bold of all the options. And that is you could move Verts to the right, put Rio on the left, especially if Cody's not going to start. Put Cody on the left. Put Rio on the left. I know it could be seen as being disruptive. It could maybe be seen as being uncomfortable for some to see that lineup out there as being this is the lineup we're going to start with in a Premier League game, an important Premier League game. But it changes relationships across the front line. And maybe that little mix-up, maybe that's something that Wolves will be unexpected. To have the likes of someone dynamic as a Rio, that's not going to be Mr. quote unquote Cody predictable, like head down, drive inside and shoot. You'd have Rio with step overs and being willing to take on fullbacks. You'd have Verts on the opposite side of the pitch, but he'd probably have enough freedom to be central or on the right side too. And it could be a real difference maker for us. Rio brings fearlessness. He brings pace. He brings that, that youthful lack of like IDGAF, like I'm just going to go for it type situation that forces defenders to defend honestly. And Wolves are conceding over 2 goals a game so far this season. They are doing that. Wait, hold on. What just happened?
I'm not sure if he did train today. He does. Do you know if he did? 12th?
What's that?
If Ibu trained today.
If Ibu?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I know that there was talks about that Konate was hurt, or there was like he picked up a little bit of a knock or something.
Mm-hmm.
But I haven't seen anything saying the likes.
I know.
I just saw
every time either him or Virgil goes in for a tackle, you've got to just hope that neither of them get an injury. But it could even be one that's not from a tackle. Either of them could pick up.
Yeah.
No, Ibu Konate did not train with Liverpool today. This is December 24th. He arrived at the training ground, but was a surprise absentee from the main session, meeting with the medical team instead, leading to speculation he's being rested or managed for the upcoming Wolves match, despite being fit enough to start recently.
Mm-hmm.
So that answers hopefully that answers your question.
I just want to quickly answer Norman's question. I know what you mean about that, Norman, but the only reason why I was like cool with that lineup is because it's Wolves. They've got 2 points all season. Was it 11 straight defeats? 12?
Yeah.
So that's another stat. And also, when the reason why I rewatch a lot of our games and stuff, when Graham Birch goes wandering, that's when we get opened up big time. So for me, with a team with an attack like that, you gotta tell that brother he ain't going over the halfway line. To allow the attacking players in that lineup to flourish. So that's the only reason I would go with that lineup.
I don't think the sign-up will be gone, but because if he starts Rio over Chiesa, if I'm Chiesa's agent, I'll email Chiesa and just say, brother, just ask for a transfer. That'd be really disrespectful.
That's not really doing him any favors, Slot, in the way. Look, Slot's probably got him the fittest he's been in years, fair play.
Mm-hmm.
But that was sort of a long time ago now. He's been ready to go for a long time.
Yep.
And I think the thing with Chiesa is he's always chirpy and happy.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he was a bit more sulky in that. And he showed the manager, you know what, I'm really pissed off now. I want to play and stuff. Maybe he would have got game time. So sometimes it's a bit of you can't win or you can't lose, because for me, Chiesa is a top professional. The way he handles himself, his aura around the club, the training ground and stuff. He's a top lad, bro. I'm so happy he came to us.
Oh, goodness. Time
I
flies.
want to see him play.
Yeah. I just realized how quickly time flies. We're over 2 hours now. I still have one more segment too. How about this then? This is my last hurrah. This. If I was going to pick a lineup, I think this would be the lineup I would go with. I would go with this lineup.
Yeah.
What are you feeling about this lineup?
That's nice as well.
I think this could be a dangerous lineup against Wolves. I think it'd be a very dangerous lineup.
For a one-off Wolves game, not bad.
Yeah. A Wolves game at home, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
I think it could be this could be a really, really fun lineup.
I didn't want it to happen, obviously, but Szoboszlai's suspension couldn't have come in a better game against the bottom side at home.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And it was a bit of a joke, actually, that it happened at all, considering what Richarlison got up to. The whole
remember yesterday when we watched it, and
whole thing was
even do nothing.
It was a joke how it happened, by the way. Absolute joke.
What's he like, Richarlison? Incorrigible.
I don't know. See, there was a movie called Being John Malkovich.
Oh yeah.
Movie of Being Rich would be.
Yeah, get inside his head, yeah. Find out what motivates him to do the things he does. He just can't be stopped when he wants to start being like that. You can't stop him, can you? He'll keep doing it until he gets booked. Or, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah,
this is the lineup. This is the lineup I would go with. I like this lineup actually.
Yeah, I like this lineup as well. And I think because it's Wolves, we can sort of have a little bit of a fun and pick these Chiesa and Rio, who for me could do a job. Even if they can't, I don't know, sub them off, whatever. But give them the opportunity, But in the long run, the bigger picture on that, Norman, you can't really risk to play this sort of lineup against every team and that. But it looks interesting, that lineup there.
Oh my goodness, that's gonna be an interesting one. Holy, looks like Tyler Morton might be on the move again.
Yeah,
we sold him, didn't we,
Morton?
Yeah, we didn't loan him. We actually sold Morton, didn't we?
Yeah, we got money. Yeah, 15 mil.
Yeah.
Yep. Whoops. It looks like Tyler Morton might be on the move, and the team that he's going to be moving on to, or reportedly moving on to in the January window, would be Juventus, the team we're just talking about, actually.
Whoa.
Oh, wow, that's a surprise. But raw.
Fair play to him.
Yeah.
If that is true.
It's that's what it says. It's
We don't know what's true or not nowadays, isn't it, bro?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tyler Morton transfer says Juventus is reportedly targeting Lyon's Tyler Morton as the club explores its options in League One. And the 23-year-old is on the top of their list for additions to Juventus's lineup. Very interesting.
He's a decent little player.
He is a very decent little player. Tell you the truth, Tyler Morton, we could use Tyler Morton right now. I'll tell you the truth.
Well, some said he's not good enough.
Someone did say that.
Arnie was the soul at the club in a weird sort of way.
Yeah, I mean, you don't know until you
I wouldn't
try.
say Arnie, but the club did.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, I don't
They were
know,
just like,
Arnie. At some point, I don't know, not every like homegrown player, but some of them you just have to give them a try. You don't know until you try.
simple.
Yeah, I agree.
You don't know till you try. If he does 2, like 3, 4, 5 games, and yeah, it doesn't happen, then fair enough. But I mean, the odd sub appearance here, the cup game, you're not going to know anything.
Hmm.
And yeah, exactly. Right now, Jay. Yeah, right now, flipping out, he'd be in this midfield.
Yeah, I tried to explain the thing to Cal. He asked the question about, does Arne Slot hold the power? Like, as and everyone was talking about how Arne Slot is a coach and he's not, involved in the transfer decisions and the likes and blah, 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 blah. And I still think that's the case, by the way. I don't think that I think Arne Slot has a opinion that he can put into the equation. But I don't think it weighs, it's not this, it doesn't carry the same weight as a Klopp had in his veto ability of players. I think that what I explained is I think that Jurgen Klopp, I think Arne Slot has, when it comes to Liverpool and it comes to quote unquote power, I think Arne Slot has the respect of the transfer committee, but he doesn't have the power to override the transfer committee. And I think that, like, one thing that I did report on yesterday, or I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago, that one of the reasons why it was being put out there, at least, or being reported, is that the Semenyo deal fell apart because Arne Slot wasn't sold on Semenyo as being a player that he could utilize. So,
well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
That's the case.
Sure not, maybe, yeah, maybe. But again, like I said,
that's what Fabrizio reported.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah, that was put out as a post. Yeah, but he's the final stays with him. If he doesn't feel he's gone, no matter what the committee says, then they're not going to buy him. He's not going to. They're not going to force it on him.
They did say in that same post, they did say that if they would prefer to have his thumbs up, but if they feel bullish enough on a player, they'll override Arne Slot and say, you're getting this player.
Nah, I don't believe that. I really don't believe that.
I believe that, to be honest with you.
I don't, because if that's the case, then no manager will be a manager because they would walk. If he's getting overridden by transfer committee, then what's the point of a coach, a manager?
Because a manager is not the same as this is just my perspective, at least. Managers aren't the same as the era of Fergie, Klopp, and Kenny, and like where they're the compass bearer as to where teams go with. Now, with all the analytic teams and the money ball type stuff that goes on, like, in my perspective, there's a direction of, we'll handle bringing you the ingredients, you make the dish. We'll bring you the top quality ingredients, you make the final product, you make the dish that we need from that product.
Yeah.
But if that's the case, if I'm a manager, it doesn't matter, manager, head coach, and they say you bring the ingredients, then there's no point of me being in charge if I'm not going to ever say.
You have a say as to whether that player plays.
Yeah, but okay, but them overriding it, then it's just fruitless, because then I'm having players that I don't want. I have, again, yes, there's a transfer committee, and yes, they will discuss, and yeah, not everyone will agree, but they'll go around the table, say, yo, if I want this player, that player, maybe Sort doesn't fancy a player, but they can suggest, but Arnie would have to give him the thumbs up. He's not going to sit there and say, oh, you override me, because then this head coach, again, this is just my opinion, head coach and manager, then there's no point of him being in charge. There has to be agreement. Maybe you're not fancying it. If he says, yeah, all right, Richard, yeah, I don't like, I'm not sure about this plane. He says, you know what, I can do it. Then he'll have to say, you know what, I'm not sure, but it's all right. I'll be okay. All right, let's give it a try.
But
isn't
that very similar to what happened with Mohamed Salah becoming a player for Liverpool?
Yeah, but yeah,
Salah wasn't a player that Klopp was campaigning for, nor was he like trying to get that play. He had another play. I think it was Julian Brandt, wasn't it, that he wanted to get at the time or something like that, right? So but the team was set upon bringing in Salah as a player. So it was, okay, cool. We understand your opinion, but this player fits all the dynamics. If you can't use them or you can't play with them, then that's on you. But we're going to bring you this player that we think is a dynamic piece to be put into the fold. Because I think if we go down the player route, that's how we get what was the Crystal Palace striker that we had?
Benteke.
Yeah, that's how we get Benteke. Because that was a case. There was an article, or there was a story about how basically Rodgers fought to get that player, despite the fact that the analytical team said this is a bad move, and he campaigned to get that specific player, despite the campaign committee saying this is like I'm gonna go blank. The sport. You know how they had the sporting Graham, I think it was. Yeah, the director of analytics and stuff. He came out and he tells the story about how that was never a choice for him. He did not want Benteke, or the analytics said this is not a good choice. But Rodgers went with that choice despite what the analytics said. He went on the eye test as opposed to the analytics.
Get our money back for Benteke, didn't we? Remember, on the way to losing in Seville in the Europa League, we played, I think it was Villarreal, I'm sure it was.
Oh, Seville.
Yeah, their manager
in the final.
And we played a different Spanish team as well on the way to the Europa League final, I think, and when we lost to Seville, and one of them.
Oh, right, Villarreal. Yeah, it was Villarreal.
But yeah, Benteke was like in the team.
Yeah.
And he went, Liverpool spent all this money and he's not even in the team. He was moaning about it, basically saying, "How can we compete with a club that can do that?"
Mm-hmm. And there was Norm is bringing up that KJ says Rodgers wanted Benteke and the board wanted Bobby, and we got both. And then Norm is bringing up the story of how Rodgers wanted Ashley Williams, and the data wanted Dejan Lovren.
But the whole synopsis and it's true, but the whole synopsis around, regardless of they disagree, the manager has to give the okay. He has to say, even if he's not 100%, and say, you know what, like Klopp said, you know what, all right, I'm not 100% sure, but you know what, I'll give it the thumbs up. Let me see if I can. If he doesn't say okay, I don't care who the transfer committee, no matter if they all agree, he's not coming. The manager, head coach, he has to give the okay, even if he's not 100% sure about him. That is key, regardless.
I think that a manager will probably say okay, even though he does, unless it's a player that he adamantly hates or something like that. I just think that he's probably going to, even if it's a player that he's not really, not a player that he rates, or not a player that he thinks or that he's put much time thinking into of how he would utilize them. I think he would trust the committee, though, because that's their job to bring in players that he can use and find him gems. Because I'm just going from the perspective of coaches don't do the whole, like I saw a interview, it was a really cool interview with King Kenny. And in the interview, he talked about how he recruited some of the players and how he would go to the games and watch the players. You remember how like people would be like, oh, so-and-so's in the stands. So obviously he must be there, scouting the player type situation, and like that doesn't happen anymore. That doesn't happen anymore. But I do understand what you're saying, though. I'm not trying to discredit it. I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. I just think that there's like that there's like some. I just think that's the reason why people bring that clarification of manager versus coach. I think sometimes, at least that's what my interpretation of it was.
No, I understand what you're saying, Todd. But like for me, like I said, manager or head coach, whoever you want to call it, they're looking them after the team. So they're going to want certain players, and of course, not every player is going to be 100%. But obviously, the transfer committee is there to recommend. And even if Hughes, Edwards, they'd hell bent on this player. If Slot says, you know what, no, then they're not going to sign him. They're not going to go over his head. They're going to say, okay, cool. At the end of the day, because at the end of the day, he's the guy managing the pitch. He wants a certain system. But of course, there'll be some, Klopp, and there's always players that look at me and anybody like, I'm not sure. And you say, you know what, we really think this player X, etc. And he said, all right, you know what, I'm not 100% sure, like, give him a try. And it could be one of the best things, Salah, etc. So, like I said, everything revolves in terms of the OK manager, regardless if he's not 100% or not. Otherwise, then there'll be issues. Because if we talk about all the signings we had, if like I said, if they were, so let's just say hypothetically, the majority of them are over Slot's head, then he probably would have walked. So yeah, that's all I'm saying though. But yeah.
And this ball came an extra G.
Yeah.
He's talking about, Norm was saying something about how he thinks Rodgers wanted to swap Hendo for Dempsey. I was explaining how I was all in on that one, but I am biased. I am definitely biased when it comes to that. Clint Dempsey. I love Clint Dempsey. All right. I just realized how time flies. It is Christmas, right? It is officially Christmas, or 1 minute before Christmas. Is it 1 minute before Christmas? So if we're on that, let me just give you a quick update on some Christmas tide or Christmas vibrations. Liverpool legend Ian Rush has confirmed he is feeling much better after a recent health scare earlier this month. Rush was admitted to the hospital and spent 2 days in intensive care after experiencing breathing difficulties, but has since made a strong recovery at the Countess of Chester Hospital. Do you know where that is, Lee?
Is it in Chester?
Oh, well, okay. Your guess is as good as mine. Okay. On Monday evening, he shared an update on Instagram, posting a photo of himself smiling and holding a glass of, shows you that I don't drink wine really. Brosecco. What is that? Prosecco? How do you say that? Prosecco, right? Or something like that. I am not that good of a wine. I'm not a wine connoisseur.
Oh, Prosecco, I think you say it. Prosecco,
yeah.
Some sort of wine, I think that some people like. I don't actually know what type of wine it is. It's just a word to me. I don't know much about wine. I can tell you about drinking, but not wine. Not drinking wine.
Here you go. This is what Prosecco looks like. There's Ian. It's a good shot too. But yeah, having a nice little glass of wine, thanking fans, NHS staff, and his partner for their support. Russ wrote that the care from the NHS was absolutely brilliant and said he felt grateful, blessed, and thankful for all the love and messages that all of us, I sent him a message to via Instagram, he received from the Liverpool community. Encouragingly, the Liverpool icon is now recovering well and in good spirits. So big up to a Liverpool legend. Just wanted to say that. All right. Well, it is Christmas, so rather than talk your ears off about football. There is an interesting thing going on. I have a little bit of a moment of zen, but I wanted to make sure that the guys got their words in, or whatever they wanted to say to you on this Christmas day, to the chat and to whoever's watching this on replay too. So I'll let Lee start. You want to say any final words?
Yeah, Merry Christmas, people. It's Christmas Day now in Liverpool, and all throughout the UK. So yes, Merry Christmas. Don't eat too many mince pies, or do if you want to. I like them, the goods with custard or cream, or they're just good on their own mince pies. That is really nice, especially a good mince pie. Them ones that have just been baked and still nice and hot, and you can smell them. Tasty, them tasty things.
Wow. Okay. Go out there and get yourself a mince pie.
Okay.
And JK, what would you like to say to the
I just
people?
want to say bless up the chat, the panel, and everyone, and have a good one, man.
All right. And Latte, would you like to say any parting words?
Yeah, if you don't have kids, enjoy it. Enjoy.
Okay.
Don't have any
Okay.
kids. Believe me.
Oh my goodness.
Believe me. But no, I'm playing. But anyway, don't get me started on what I'm dealing with tonight. But yeah, Merry Christmas to all. Enjoy the festivities. I'm gonna get fat. Enjoy the foods, which is gonna be great. Gonna fat, and I'll lose it quickly in the gym next week. But yeah. And the words of my illustrious ex-manager, Jürgen Klopp, Einstein 4 und weit und Pfund. Von da Geißen sind ins Geißen sind und 4 und Pfund und Merry Christmas, yeah. Good night.
Yeah. There you go. I do have a Reds moment of zen for you. So apparently, Pep Guardiola's Christmas present to his team was enjoy your Christmas. Definitely enjoy your Christmas with your families. Eat up, but don't eat up too much, because when you get back, we're gonna weigh all you little piggies. So, so I do have a little something for you. This is your moment of Red Zen. For just remember, if you're a Manchester City player, maybe not eat too many mince pies out there, because you will not be
lucky
playing.
that he isn't a City player, isn't he?
No play for you. No extras.
That could be Ruben Diaz on the scales. It could be Ruben Diaz.
It very well could be. No extra pounds. All right, people. Enjoy your holiday. Merry Christmas to all. Happy Hanukkah. Happy Kwanzaa. And yes, it's happy holidays in general. Be safe. I will be back on Christmas Day too. I'll have an episode on Christmas Day. I'm going to see if the guys want to do an episode or not with me, with what I have in mind. But we will see you guys soon. And until then, up the Reds as always.
Boo.